Right guys, welcome back to the channel. If you haven't seen the previous video with James dropping this car off up to me, please go and have a look at it. It's a really cracking car. We will do a full review on it once the work's done, but really I want to take the time in this video to sort of walk you around the car, show you the work that needs to be done, the bits and pieces that Chris, James's dad, wants sorting, and see what we can do with it really, because this old girl definitely deserves to be out on the road, because that engine is quite something out on the old A and B roads. So let's get stuck into it. Let's see what we've got to do. The things I do know about is we've got both sills, so we've got outer sills on both sides, possibly a doorstep repair or a doorstep on the driver's side, floor repair on the driver's side, but I think we can probably get away on the passenger side with an inner sill repair and a sill. So the passenger side I'm going to leave till last on the welding side of things. I'm going to get stuck into the driver's side. But first of all, let's have a look at what we've got. I'll get the car jacked up, and first point of call really will be check out what we've got to work with, get the interior out of the way, because the seats in this are genuine John Cooper seats. The leather on them is absolutely stunning. The car smells so nice inside, of like old leather smell. I obviously don't want to set fire to anything like that with the welding and stuff. In the rear door bins, it can get quite hot down there, and if there's paint down there, it can burn, and you don't want to catch fire to the rear door cards. So that'll be the first thing we do. So we'll check out the rust, and then we'll get stuck into getting the interior out. Right, so with the car jacked up, let's properly assess what's going on the driver's side at least. Got to start somewhere, so let's start here. So here's your flitch panel coming down. Doesn't look too bad really. The lip where it joins round's gone, and that's where the sill ends. So we have got a bit of corrosion there. That's your sort of anchor point that was used in the factory. On the sills I put on, I always get rid of that. I weld it up because you can see that is now filled with water, and that's taking this corner out. So when the new sill goes on, it won't have that, because I think it's the better way to go. This here is that's carpet and underlay, so that's not good. Moving on from that, that's the sill. There's your inner sill. So we'll just move the torch up there. Let's see. So there's what's left of your outer sill, there's your inner sill, and this is all flaky paint. So like mentioned when James was up with me, we're thinking of doing a coarser floor. Now actually getting under the car, I don't actually think it needs it. The floor is very dented here on the actual main pan, if you like. Someone's obviously jacked it up at some point. Both sides of the floor are like this. I don't believe it's something James and Chris would have done, because they're just not like that. They know about their minis, they know what the maintenance requires. So I do think it's something that maybe the previous owner's done. That being said, a big hammer, you can normally knock that back flat. That will also reveal if any of this is any worse, because it will just crack and go. What I will do is probably weld up these drain holes, because obviously you can see around them they've corroded. You know, in the 89 build we've got rid of all that. So I'm hoping knock that floor down, weld those holes up, bring the floor level, and we might get away with an inner sill and an outer sill. So that's your box section that your seat sits on. Not uncommon to see this. Budget Clubman got it repaired, so to my sidewalk. Moving on from the back, you've got what looks like could be a hole very soon, but it's more flaky paint than anything. And then we actually have down this end, right, grab the torch down here for you guys. Right, so at the other end, your seatbelt anchor for the car is roughly about here. Now this isn't far away from it. In fact, I can feel the edge of the plate there. So that's obviously quite a structural issue. Looking at the back, I'd say these are original sills, because like the Budget Clubman, these are little plastic bungs that the factory put in. No one ever really puts them back in a restoration. Like I mentioned, I weld them up and get rid of it all together. So looking at the hill board, the hill board's actually really good. So what we'll do is we'll clean all this back. This is good and solid, and we'll fold it back round because your sill goes under that. So that being said, I don't think it's anything we've sort of not seen before. So give you another shot at that. I will have a chat with Chris and James if they're keeping the subframe, the jacking point, sorry, because for me I get rid of them, and you can see, good old lightsaber, you can see how corroded that is. So I mentioned that in there is the box section, and that's carpet. So let's take a look on the inside and see what we're working with. Right, so moving on to the inside of the car, so that's where I've just peeled back the sill, and I will just hold that back so I don't catch my hand on it. So, oh, sorry Chris. Yeah, so my main concern with the car is how bad how far the floors have gone. So let's just whip this carpet back. So let's just tuck that around there. Obviously I'll pull all of this out of the way. I'm not starting any sort of work with any of this in the way. So other than that's all dusty dirt, you can see, trying to find something that's level. It's quite a straight edge. You can still see, that's not straight. So that does need addressing, but like I said, a big tap of a hammer normally locks that back down. All of this I will move out of the way. I found a random nut there. Not sure that's off. And we'll lose all these plastic bungs and get rid of all that. I'm hoping, now looking at it, we might get away with the floor. An inner sill will come up to about here. So we could get away with inner sill and a sill repair. That you can buy as a one-piece unit from Member Machine. So that may be what we do really. Peeling this back, having a proper look. So I'll just whip that down there. Other than being very wet, that's wet. You can see the moisture down there. Don't think this is going to be too much of an issue. I think if we can clean this back, you obviously remember the budget club when I didn't actually have a corner here and had a big bodge. This being quite a genuine car and hasn't had much work. That being said, it has had a hinge panel put in there. You can see the seam that they've put it up. So it's been done okay. It's not been done too bad. It lines up nice on the bottom, so we're not going to touch any of that. It's solid and it's good. So we'll leave that. There is your proof that's a genuine John Cooper conversion car. Obviously done in Worthing, Sussex. Anyone knows any history on that, they will know exactly where that garage is and what it's doing today and things like that. Unfortunately, it's not done anything mini related, but ways I guess things move on. One of my other concerns was when I peel this back, this doorstep looks really nice. Quite happy with it in that sense, but what's going to be under these? Yet again, genuine John Cooper side steps. So that's sort of the driver's side rough outline of what we're going to have to deal with. I'm going to go grab myself a screwdriver now out of the toolbox, and we're going to whip off that conversion plate, put that somewhere away, very safe. In fact, I might put it somewhere like in the house away from the car. Don't want to damage that. It's a massive part of the history of the car. And then I'm going to get this doorstep kick plate off, because if we want to move forward with this, we need to get some panels ordered, and obviously we've seen the underside, pretty much know what's going on there. I'm going to measure how far things like the inner sill come in so we order the correct amount of panels and we're not falling too short. Before we order the panels, I will cut all the old stuff off and I will knock that floor down, because if that floor cracks out and goes, then we're obviously going to replace the floor pan. But this floor is really quite solid, and I'm hoping with a good clean up, we might have to repair it, and we've repaired the sidewalks, but I don't think it warrants a full floor pan. Now, like James mentioned in the previous video, this car has done over 100,000 miles. Now, a lot of people don't really drive their classic cars, but this car, it's seen autographs, it's seen like rally crossing, it's seen track days, it's seen being beaten on like A roads and stuff like that and B roads. So it's had a hard life in a way, but it's been much loved by Chris and James. So it's the time now where we want to sort it. And the fact that it's still got original floor pans, so many original panels on it, other than the work it's had done sort of front and back, but the middle of the car is normally what goes, because they're never rush treated or anything like that from factory. So the fact it's done over 100,000 miles and this is the extent of it, it's really not that bad. So I'll go and get that screwdriver, we'll whip these off and we'll get a better idea of what we need. Fingers crossed we don't need a doorstep, because that's a lot more work and we don't really need that. It'd be nice to save the doorstep. And yeah, let's go get a screwdriver. Alright, let's get this kick plate off first to see where I are with that. Hoping this won't be too... One out. Oh dear. I can see rust. Another one out. Tiniest screws in the world. So that's that out. Oh dear. So like I thought, basically where it's screwed, it's, yeah, right. Right, we'll see how we get on with this. Let's bring you guys in a bit closer. Pop that over there, like that. We'll get this off next, but first of all, bring you guys in and have a proper look at this. Right, so with the kick plate off, it's feared what I thought, to be honest. It's looking a bit crusty. So we'll clean all this back and we'll have a proper look at it. I have repaired the Budget Clubman. It wasn't so bad, so this doesn't look too bad. What we will do, we'll just, oh sorry, cracking paint. God, I should put some goggles on. I'm alright everywhere. Oh dear, no, this is... Right. Right, yeah. Yeah, this has got a little bit worse than I thought. So, yeah, it's going to need a doorstep, unfortunately. There's no point putting a seal onto that. In my eyes, you need this good lip to weld to, and you can see there isn't a lip for a good 30 centimetres there. Oh dear. Right, we can rebuild. Never fear, we can rebuild this, don't worry. Just another panel. What's another panel at Simpsons Classics? One more to the list. Right, so I've just removed this. It is number... It's got S43. So, number 43 conversion, I guess. Love it, very cool. It's an absolute privilege to work on this little slice of history. Right, that brings this video to an end. I wanted to really get stuck in and see what I've got to work with. We can look at ordering panels, we can start pricing things up. I think it's going to need pretty much a doorstep. It's going to need an inner sill, and it's going to need a sill, an outer sill. So yeah, it's common mini things really. The fact this car's done over 100,000 miles and it's just now going, right, my original sills are now not good enough for me, let's move them aside. If a car's been well looked after, you can't knock that. Do you know what I mean? So it's an absolute privilege that I'm being given the chance to work on this. To me, being a mini sort of geek slash fanatic, I guess you could call me, working on a genuine John Cooper Mini is quite something for me, and it's an absolute honour to be able to try and put this car back on the road for James and Chris. We've got a long road ahead of us, I guess. I'm hoping once the sort of panels are all cut out, you can really see how bad it is. We can see how bad the inner sill is going to be. I'm not shy of repairing an inner sill, and they have said if they can be repaired, let's get them repaired. So I'm hoping to get away with sort of things like that. It's no hardship to do. It's just a case of cutting it, lining it, and getting it welded up. So I'm really looking forward to trying to get this driver side done. The passenger side should be, I think, a breeze. But we will get onto the passenger side. Obviously, I'll flip the car around completely and we're access the passenger side. But for now, I'm going to, off camera, I'm going to whip those seats out because you guys don't need to see how I take a seat out of a Mini. It's literally 2 bolts, both seats. Rear seat's already out, and I'm going to remove the rear door cards. So the next video you'll see will be time to get the angle grinder out, and yeah, you'll see the stripped interior, and let's just get cracking. Let's get all the metal and crud and horrible stuff out of the way, and we can really start trying to stitch some new metal into this car. So if you really like the sound of this video, it should be quite a short series. I'm hoping to get all the welding done, and basically the car will get back to Chris and we can see it out in the summer. James is going to do a good review on this car, get it out, get some power done on it, maybe do some passes, and you'll be able to see really how fast this car is, because it is we think it's going to be pushing 95 to 100 brake horsepower, and it really does need a dyno test to prove that. But there'll be more from this car. For me, my job is to get the welding done and get her looking a bit prettier and get her on the road. So if
If you haven't already, please go and watch the previous video to this, and keep an eye out on the channel. There's loads of big things coming, plenty of other work, loads of how-tos, and let's get another car on the road, shall we? I'm not too busy with things, got loads of time for stuff like this. So thanks for watching, guys. If you haven't already, ring that bell, give this video a thumbs up, comment below if you'd like to know more. Like I say, it's a genuine John Cooper Mini, so there's quite a bit of history about it. And yeah, catch you next one, guys, when we get the angle grinder out. Thanks for watching.